Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Got it by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Monday, February 22nd. It's been a roller coaster of a weekend. It depends on how you look at it. If you're like me and you weren't able to watch the first half of the Kentucky game, you decided not to get upset, not to get worked up. You have enough heart issues. You have a history of it in your family. You're overweight. You don't need any more. You just don't turn it on, and that's what I did Saturday. So I hope everybody had a good weekend like me.
Yeah, or the first half, you don't even have to worry about the second half. You just know it's not going to be anything that you want to tune into. So That's what I did. First half, I was like, "Oh, that was gross. Let's not do that."
Yeah, it was an ugly affair. I really wanted to see Tennessee get the sweep over Kentucky. Seems like it's just like the way it's going to happen. Kentucky's worst year, Tennessee's worst year last year. You're going to split it 1-1. It's unfortunate. A sweep would have been nice, especially because Kentucky fans are some of the most, especially Kentucky basketball fans, are some of the most obnoxious people on planet Earth.
Oh, yeah, they're the worst.
So that it would have been nice to get that sweep. The good news is you got to see a extra inning grand slam. God, how cool that would have been if that was a walk-off. It's unfortunate you're not the home team in that situation.
Dead center.
Dead center. So you did get that on Sunday, and baseball, not as significant as opponent as Kentucky, but a sweep is a sweep.
Yeah, you got it. You found a way. That's what's so. We've been saved by another sport every time we get down with one. So
yeah.
Basketball is kind of the savior to football, and now baseball is a savior to basketball. So
there's nothing.
Hopefully we don't need it. Hopefully we don't need another lifesaver during this baseball season. That'd be nice.
Yeah, there's nothing in June, so baseball's got to just finish it out. Baseball's got to. There's nothing to pick up the slack. You just got to win.
Right.
You just got to win, and hopefully baseball can do that. We are going to talk about the football staff as always. That's a given, especially because it's almost complete. That's how Landon put it. Not quite, but getting there.
One more.
Wheels are still moving. I'm going to talk about a little coded message, maybe. I don't know how coded. It may have just been a tweet from Ty Simpson last night. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And
it was deleted.
It was it was deleted? Is that a good thing? I don't know.
I don't really know either. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he thought that maybe he shouldn't have said that. Maybe he's trying to give something. He thought he was giving something away. Connecting, because Tennessee fans were connecting the dots. I was connecting the dots.
Well, he was supposed to commit Friday. Decided to push that back due to school closures. All the weather this week. It's still been. There's still places in Texas that have not bounced back. Thankfully, Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee weren't hit quite as hard. Then we're going to talk about Heup House. So is that how you see it? No, UCF is the bounce house. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. This is the Heup House.
Not willing to do that yet. Do not print the shirts. See, Landon, you're giving someone at UT an idea to print shirts. No.
I'm not buying it yet. They can print them all they want to, but I'm not buying it yet.
I will never. I thankfully never bought any of those like Butch Please shirts or anything like that.
Did you do that?
Oh no, God no. God no. I'm not buying something because someone stutters. I stutter and I say "aight" all the time. Yeah, I'm not buying. Yeah, I like the name, but let's see a little something. Don't print the shirts. That's all. Even if you're winning big, don't print the shirts.
Just print them.
We will talk about the Kentucky game. We'll get into all of that. Oh,
I thought you liked chaos, so wouldn't you want them to print it?
That's not really chaos though. That's just like setting up for like embarrassment. Like that's like inviting embarrassment
or chaos. Because if you don't win, there's going to be chaos.
I guess it's a form of chaos. I don't know. It's not my ideal form of chaos.
Okay.
My ideal form of chaos is Heupel going out and just like dropping bags openly of cash. That's my ideal form of chaos.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Restrict our they're going to give us like a postseason ban, or they're going to take away some scholarship?
Please.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? They're already doing it.
They don't have to. We're doing it. Tennessee's done it.
Yeah.
Then we're going to talk about the BaseVols this weekend. Maybe a fail. I want to get your thoughts on Georgia Southern's jerseys on Sunday, uniforms, kits. If you're a football fan, were they the ugliest things you've ever seen?
You know, I wasn't a fan.
I just don't like. It looked misprinted. The way the state was like tucked into their jersey or into their pants.
Yeah, I like their like Georgia Southern's football uniforms.
I can't tell you what they look like. I'll be honest.
I really like the helmet because it's just like a matte blue, like a matte navy, and there's like nothing on it. It's just like a navy helmet. It's pretty cool.
Weird definition of cool, but I mean, hey, if it's your cup of tea.
And with like Oregon and stuff, less is more.
That's
so
fair.
I can get down with some plain.
Well,
Plain's nice every now and then.
Well, Georgia Southern baseball did not take the less is more because they had Eagles printed on their chest, and then the state logo horribly printed on their stomach with, I believe, there was something else in it. Maybe like the location of Georgia Southern. Like the spot
like
on
dot?
Georgia States, like Statesboro's at. It was ugly. That's all I remember. I think I have a screenshot of it. But yeah, it was absolutely terrible. They didn't deserve to win because of that, I think. So that's good that they were not able to get the win.
You get what you pay for.
Oh no, it just said G. It did have the logo or the dot. It was a star where Statesboro is, and then just a very, very, very ugly GS. Yeah, it was tacky.
Yeah, might want to get your money back on those.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Tennessee looked good all weekend. I'm not a fan of the grays, but I get other people like them.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go gray, you just go all gray. I don't like the white pants with it. If you're going to go gray, go all gray.
Mixing it up a little too much for you?
Yeah.
They I mean, I'll say this. They at least look like good uniforms. I'm just not a fan of the color.
Yeah.
Like that's it for me. That's all I got. All right. Let's get into it. Wait. Tell us where you're listening from. Unless it's Statesboro, Georgia, I want it printed on your stomach where you're listening from.
You also not like this podcast toward the end. I'll tell you that. So if you're going to listen, probably get out of here before we get to a little sweep of Southern Georgia. So yeah, also go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. The weather is all over the place, so that's
great today.
Still a thing.
Hey,
yeah, it was nice.
Also, I'm feeling victorious for the Vols. I got pals on my way home today. So,
do you think like there's just been a shortage for John Fulgerson? Do you think that's what it is?
I mean, if I need to drive a couple hours south and bring some, let me know. I'm a servant. I'm a volunteer. I'll do it.
Yeah, put on your coonskin cap and the musket
south.
Or rifle. I guess it's a rifle, but it's kind of a musket too.
It is called the Rifleman, to be fair.
Right, but I think it's they might be the same thing. I don't know anything about guns, so. Also, tell us where you're listening from. We're big geography guys. Also, go like this, share it, retweet it, do whatever you got to do. Put some hearts in there. It's pretty cool. Nice little gesture for us.
It is Bachelor night, so feel the love.
I know.
I'm in the air.
I'm missing the Bachelor right now.
I feel terrible for you. I feel terrible.
Thanks,
for you,
guys.
truly.
Appreciate it.
You should spoil it for Landon if you'd like.
Yeah, don't do that, please.
Just drop it in the chat. I'll read it. I'll read anything aloud about the Bachelor. Go ahead, drop them in there. Tennessee should have, I think, and since we're gonna get into the staff, I really think with the way the coaching search went, they should have done a reality show version of a coaching search where Danny White now would have been Philip Fulmer. Either of those guys invites 12 mostly unqualified men, because I don't think most people on The Bachelor are qualified necessarily to be in relationships, judging by the emotional maturity level of them. So unqualified men to a destination, I guess, of sorts. I don't know, football destination, maybe like Canton, Ohio, and just there you go, dwindle it down to the final one. Hand out roses or something of the sort. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Maybe a football helmet.
I like that. So yeah, I think that's how the coaching search. If Heupel fails, can we just all agree to at least get very, very valuable entertainment out of it? And instead of maybe tracking planes there, we'll track the planes that are taking people home, because then we'll know who's been eliminated.
Let's make a 30 for 30 about just how terrible the athletic. If Heupel doesn't work out, like you said, just get a 30 for 30, a big long series, just like The Last Dance.
I was about to say it's going to take more than one episode.
Yeah, like a whole thing. I don't. What was that? It wasn't a. It was like a docu-series.
Yeah, it wasn't 30 for 30.
It wasn't
I think
30
like
for
from
30.
the creators
But anyway,
of 30 for 30, but yeah.
Yeah. Get a whole series of just, it's not even a decade anymore. It's longer than that. So.
It depends on how you look at a decade. Some people look at the decade as starting the year. So 2021 is a new decade. So it depends on how you look at it. Still a chance to be the decade of the Vols. It's technically not out of question yet.
Okay, so decade and a little sudden death.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, you got a chance to come out of this decade victorious. Tennessee falling out of the top 25. Your two best freshmen of all time on your roster. It's not a great start because everyone, like you mentioned, everyone's looking forward to basketball.
I mean, Fulmer did say this is going to be the decade of the Vols. Did he say that last year?
Jeremy Pruitt said it. He said it last. He said it in 2020, technically. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a good that's a good thing to use then, because then you have like 9 years after that for it to come to fruition.
Yeah, but if you start out the way Jeremy Pruitt did this decade, you don't really have much of a chance.
That's true. Yeah, but at least like. If we do get back to competitiveness in the SEC, he could come back and say, "I told you so."
Yeah, I was right. He set himself up. You're right. You're absolutely right. He didn't say how it would be done. He just said it would be done.
Correct. He didn't say it would be him being a part of the Vols.
Yeah, absolutely. I am for the Decade of Dysfunction docuseries.
Maybe he'll be back.
Rights from Mark Nagy. Jeremy Pruitt's coming back.
Maybe. In like 9 years, we just hire him back to be like a GA or something.
With that, everyone wanted to like bring Lane Kiffin home, prodigal son.
Yeah.
How great would it be? Like, again, rooting for chaos, entertainment value. How hilarious would it be? Not great. It would be embarrassing. But hilarious it would be if Jeremy Pruitt ended up being the prodigal son that was brought home and had his second chance at Tennessee, not Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, just being like the recruiting coordinator or something.
No, bring him back as a head coach.
Oh, okay. And recruiting
coordinator. 10 years later, bring him back as a head coach. Yeah, like Lane Kiffin style. Everyone rooting for him to come back. I think
he's going to morph into Philip Fulmer like here in the next 3 or 4 years anyway. So
it's possible then. So he'll be the athletic director. Okay.
Yes.
Of sorts. I'm for it. Hope he never learns what asparagus is. I hope that's something that he just at this point refuses to learn. There's not a point in it. Does it taste good? Sure. Does it make your urine smell and it's not worth it tasting good? Yeah, it's not worth it. You don't need it. You don't need asparagus.
What is that?
I have 2-a-days. I bought 2-a-days.
Did you get your money back? Can you return it?
Is
it worth more now than it was like a couple months ago?
Probably. People are probably looking in there to see if he was paying those Hoover players. Yeah, probably.
It's more of like an antique.
Exactly. All right, staff.
Yeah, so Tennessee hired their linebackers coach, Brian Gene Mary, linebackers coach at Michigan. Before that, he was kind of with Charlie Strong at Louisville from 2010 to 2013. Then he was at Texas 2014 to 2016, and then at UCF until 2019. And then in 2020, took over at Michigan. He does have a slight bit of SEC experience. He was a GA at South Carolina, but been at some bigger programs, like I mentioned, Texas, Louisville, UCF, and then was at Michigan. Some of his recruits, Malik Jefferson at Texas. He was also the lead recruiter for Junior Colson at Ravenwood in the 2021 class in Brentwood, Tennessee. So, yeah, I mean, it's a decent hire. You got him from a Power 5 program to coach the same position. So we'll see. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about him, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
can't give him a ton of credit yet.
No. I mean, I guess at least, you were, like you said, you went out and got someone from a Power 5 program, someone that has that experience. That you're not getting a new guy that hasn't coached the linebacker position for, does have more experience. I mean, overall, that's the position hires that I think have, for the most part, been pretty solid. I think for, I don't know, what, I guess as good as it probably could be. I mean, you say it, and I don't necessarily disagree. I'll just maybe move it one spot back. Rodney Garner is the second most important hire you think of this offseason. I think he's very, very important. I think you made a good hire in going out and being able to get Cody Burns, who has a ton of, not a ton, but quite a bit of position as a wide receiver coach in the SEC, and has those SEC ties and played and recruited. Will recruit good in the SEC. Goalish, which, I mean, I get, were we going to call him a position coach?
Tight ends, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't, but regardless, I mean, pretty, overall pretty good. Willie Martinez, depending on how you look at it, I mean, I think it seems like a lot of people that were here when he was here last are pretty pleased with that hire. And I told you, I mean, if I was going to be fine with Jancic, I have to be fine with Martinez because he was coming with Jancic if Jancic was going to be the defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think a lot of position hires have been pretty solid.
Yes, and I do like how most of them have been coordinators at some point. Not really. I'm not sure about Ellerby, but most of the hires that Heupel has made or his coordinators have made have been guys that have that coordinator experience where they've ran at least one side of the ball. So hopefully that experience comes as an asset to him and helps the success of this program, because you just don't know. I mean, you could have an all-star staff, but something about Tennessee, it just doesn't always work.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee is definitely just different in that regard. I think there's different things that kind of determine that at Tennessee, and I mean one of those factors, and I don't think this is the only one, because it's like this everywhere in the SEC, but it's definitely the pressure. The part of wanting to win and win immediately, expecting to win and win immediately. And Tennessee, I mean, a lot of people are talk, and I think it's fair when you talk about talent gap, and you shouldn't expect Tennessee to necessarily beat Alabama or compete with Alabama or even now Georgia, and unfortunately in the last 3 years even Florida, because it felt like there for a while Tennessee was right there competing with Florida, and that gap's just been getting wider and wider. But the expectations of beating Missouri, of beating Kentucky, of beating Vanderbilt consistently, of beating Arkansas, of beating Mississippi State, of beating BYU, like those aren't expectations that aren't out. Those aren't absurd expectations. Now when you talk about beating those teams year in, year out, it's just gotten harder. Beating Kentucky, I mean, Tennessee, the expectations to beat Kentucky, but Kentucky's getting better. They're not a program you're going to walk over.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and they've had some stability in that program with Mark Stoops. So, yeah, Tennessee definitely needs to figure it out. And, I understand, like, you want to give Heupel time, but I just don't know how much time do you give him before people just start being like, yeah, and I'm done with this too.
And I think I think that's, one thing. Tennessee fans, 7-3 or 3-7 is just a different story. It's unacceptable. It's absurd to go 3-7, especially with the schedule you have this year. I mean, it is set up to, to finish 5-5 fairly easy. I mean, if we're just being honest. But I mean, if you go, I don't want to say 4-6, because you should have beat Arkansas. You should have beat Auburn, honestly. Auburn,
I mean, you beat Auburn pretty much soundly until the pick six.
Right. And then that one would have been probably considered a good win, depending. I mean, it wouldn't have been a good win if you just go 4-6. But it would have been a good win if you had, gone on to have a pretty good season. So you should have. I mean, that's 5 wins probably right there off the top of my head. In Arkansas and Auburn, should have had those. And if you go 5-5, and you play Alabama's probably a different animal this year, but you play Florida more competitively. You play A&M more competitively. Georgia doesn't get out of hand in the second half. I mean, Tennessee fans are not calling for Jeremy Pruitt's throat. And when all that comes out, now unless it just, but shit, it doesn't hit the fan when you're winning games or when you're competing. So Jeremy Pruitt probably still has a job.
Yeah. And a question I'm always going to have is like, was it worth, burning everything to the ground to get out of his buyout? Was it worth it?
I think that can only be determined if Heup works out. Like, that's the only way it can be determined. Or if whoever Danny White, Randy Boyd, Donde Plowman had hired then. I think that's the only way. It's all going to be what happens from here. Because, I mean, it was time for Jeremy Pruitt to go. I think most people would agree that they would rather have paid the $12 million and not be facing potential sanctions because of level 1 violations. But it seemed like the only way Philip Fulmer was going to make a move was if he had to. And Donde Plowman and Randy Boyd made him. I mean, you can't argue that.
Mm-hmm.
If Philip Fulmer was going to make a move, he would have done it before January, whatever day it was.
Yeah, I just don't know. It doesn't really seem to me with all the, the transfers and everything like that. It just seemed like, and maybe they still happen. Maybe they do. But I think you give yourself a better chance if you're like, the expectation is Tennessee is not going 3-7, but you keep them. So you say you're saying that expectation like isn't enough to get you fired.
Right.
And then you wait until all these allegations come out to get him fired. So,
right. Yeah, we went all off on that tangent. But just to say that I don't think the expectations at Tennessee are ridiculously and unattainably high. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think the national media, even people in the SEC, and even some Tennessee fans believe that the expectations at Tennessee are just unattainable. That the expectations fans have. I mean, look at the 2016 season. And the way the fans showed up, and then say all that. Look at the 2015 season and how it ended. It wasn't, or not necessarily ended, but went. You had a absolutely unacceptable, because you probably win if you just make better coaching decisions. Lost to Oklahoma at home in front of the rowdiest crowd I've ever experienced. And when I say that, I mean for full 4 quarters. You have a terrible loss to Florida at home. No, not at home. That was away. Not pretty at all. And then you have a heartbreaking loss again to Alabama. But like again, that shows to when you compete, Tennessee fans the expectations change. It's not get rid of him now. It's all right. We're competing. We're on the right track. We won games we should have won. We competed in games we should have competed in. And that that's the expectation.
Yeah, it's not losing all these games by 20+ points.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, and again, if you've gone 3-7 and competed in all 7 games, people are still asking for the job, and that's fair. You went 3-7. You would have had to lose to Arkansas along the way. Auburn, who was not good and whose coach was going to be fired a week later. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't think the expectations are incredibly high. I think Heupel is going to have to, Heupel and his staff don't necessarily have a easy road ahead. And I mean, like you mentioned the transfers. You mentioned that they lost a lot of key guys, especially defensively. And that's, that's the point I've tried to make too when people are like, Tennessee just doesn't have a chance this year. And I'm like, hey, they're going to struggle defensively. But they're probably going to struggle defensively if you keep Henry To'oTo'o and Dylan Brooks and you get Big Cat Bryant. And, like, if you get those key guys, the way Heupel is going to run this program, it's not going to be designed for the defense. So they're probably going to struggle anyways. So if you want to look at it kind of half glass full, I think you have a ton of firepower on offense. I mean, I think the real question marks are probably your offensive line and your tight end. And that's really, what other questions do you have? Maybe running back a little bit, but there's talent in the room.
I think there's no doubt there's talent probably all over the roster, but it's like, can you get some consistency? Because, I mean, we saw last year, no matter how good that offense is, it's all about the quarterback. If you have bad quarterback play, it doesn't matter.
But again, I go back, surely there's enough talent in that room now. There was enough talent in the room last year.
Yeah, and with the track record that Heupel's had with quarterbacks, you would think that he could do something with one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of been my point. And if because I've been very medium about Heupel since he's been here. Wait and see. But when people ask me, like, do you really, like, this is a bad hire, right? Like, I don't think it's it's definitely not a splash hire, not a slam dunk. But I think Tennessee's going to have a really, really good chance of being in ball games late because they're going to be able to score. Their defense is going to struggle. Their defense is probably going to give up a lot. But I think Tennessee is going to have a really, really good chance to be in ball games because they've got athletes offensively, and Heupel's it's going to be fast paced. He is looking to score points. That's my half glass full take. I do not have high expectations for the defense. I just don't. Hopefully, they can create turnovers. I think that would be their saving grace, is just creating turnovers. I don't think you're looking at a team that can, get off the field on third down often. I don't think you're looking at a team that can get teams 3 and out often. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just hope that they can create turnovers. That's my.
Yeah, and if you can score, then I mean, you're not that's if you're able to score so many times, then that's the less time you have to get stops, the less you have to get turnovers. That offense can really help out a defense a ton. Yeah. And last year it just destroyed it. Any momentum the defense would get, the offense would just immediately just turn it over, go 3 and out, and the defense is right back on the field. So it was. By the end of the game, they're like, what the hell do you want me to do?
Yeah, it definitely, which is going to be kind of similar in that sense of defense is probably going to be on the field a lot again, but hopefully they're on the field after a very, very quick touchdown drive or scoring drive. And again, that's why I don't have a ton of high expectations for them. That's just not going to be the style of play. It's just hopefully they can create 1-2 turnovers a game. Because like you said, if you're scoring often, that 1 turnover a game, which hopefully it's more. Hopefully it's, more than that. But that 1 turnover a game, it creates the separation.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to go back out on defense if your offense is going to score.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot easier to make plays. It's a lot easier to cover a guy that's in front of you. It's a lot easier to get to the quarterback when you have some points on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Hopefully the defense finds some kind of faith, because I do think that's where you lack, I think, the most talent and depth combination, at least.
Yeah. So I did listen to Tim Banks on The Nation with Chris Lowe and Austin Price, and when I got done with it, I mean, it is a lot of coach speak, and you can't really tell a lot, but I did like what I heard, and it was a lot of the same thing that kind of Josh Heupel was preached on, is just like, what kind of offense what kind of defense do you run? He's like, I run multiple stuff, and, I'm going to look at this roster and see what I have and see what I can build around. And that's the way I'm going to build my defense. Not, we're not going to have, square pegs in a round hole.
Yeah.
You know, you want guys that fit your system, and you want to build your system around the guys you have. So I really like that. He just seems like a relationship kind of guy, not a huge flashy kind of hire. And I feel like a lot of these guys, yeah, they're not flashy, but they also check a lot of boxes of what you're looking for. Was it the number one guy you thought? No, maybe not. But like, it was a guy like, okay, he's been a head coach, he's been in the SEC. You know, there's just been a lot of check boxes with a lot of this staff.
You know, I would agree with that. And I was going to kind of go from the counterpoint, and I still will. But I do agree with that. He does check a lot of the boxes that most people were wanting to see, like out of that defensive coordinator hire. You know, I think that's the big question marks are like the track record isn't just astounding. Like it doesn't. I mean, it barely catches your attention if we're just being honest. You really got to go in there and be like, okay. I mean, he does have. You know, he has recruited some top guys. He has had some pretty solid defenses. You know, he has had the reins of a program. But you know, it's not a guy that pops off the page to you. And I think the defense coordinator hire was I think the second most important hire. I think you did okay. I don't think it's above and beyond. It's another wait and see. I'm glad it's not the other end of the spectrum where you're going, not that guy. Because I think it certainly could have been that. Could have been that, especially after the way it seemed like it was going. It certainly could have been that. But I would agree with what you said at the end. I think that was a good counterpoint to what I was going to say, and he does check the boxes.
Yeah. I mean that's a lot of the staff, and they seem to be on the same page when they talk to the media. You heard Tim Banks, you heard the whole offensive staff, and they really just kind of reiterated the same things that Josh Heupel's been saying. Just like, you know, building their offense and defense around the guys on this roster, and then bringing guys in. So we'll see. I mean, we don't know a ton about, you know, some of these guys, so it is just kind of wait and see, and you know, hopefully they have success, because I don't know if I can take another coaching search. No, I don't think my body will take it.
I certainly can't. Again, if
we're aging, I know like the head coach is aging. You know, you saw Jeremy Pruitt from the time he started and the time he was gone. I mean, it took 25 years off his life. I'm not going at that rate, but I feel myself aging a lot faster because Tennessee is struggling.
Yeah, it's definitely still rapid over here. It's a big wait and see process. Again, I think it's the same thing with like Josh Heupel, what you said about Tim Banks. Does check a lot of the boxes off. I wouldn't say all, but does check a lot of the boxes off that fans wanted to see. Again, I mean, I don't think there would be a staff hire. I mean, there definitely would be at this point. But even with the hiring this week, it doesn't move me from like that B-, what I think of this coaching hire, the staff that's been put together. I still sit at that like B- range. Think it was pretty solid considering. I feel like unfortunately I've been saying that. I said that about Jeremy Pruitt. So I kind of hope I don't regret that. Probably will, for just being honest. But just go be competitive. Go be competitive year one. Go be competitive.
Yep. I mean, Heupel just seems like a normal dude. Like if somebody, just a casual fan, didn't really know him, just like went to Tennessee games and they saw him in Walmart or something like that, they would have no clue like he's a football coach.
Would you have guessed Butch Jones, or actually would you have guessed Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, or Jeremy Pruitt would have been football coaches though?
That's a good point. Yeah, probably not.
I would not. I would have said Derek Dooley was 100%.
Maybe Jeremy Pruitt.
Maybe, but I feel like
Butch Jones, hell no.
What's Jeremy Pruitt wearing? If he's not wearing football stuff, there's no way in hell I'm guessing he's a football coach.
And there's no way Derek Dooley or probably Butch Jones goes to Walmart. I feel like they're too above Walmart to go to those places.
Butch Jones for sure. He's not above it, but he thinks he's above it. Have you seen his house?
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, Ty Simpson. What's going on?
See the guy, man. I mean, the sweepstakes comes to an end on Friday.
Right.
You pushed it back a week. I think it's around 3:00 on Friday is when he's supposed to make his decision. It looks like it's between Tennessee, Clemson, and Alabama.
I mean,
He wants to be here. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny it. He wants to come to Tennessee, but how can you just turn down what you've seen from Clemson and Alabama?
Right.
I don't know.
No,
I'm glad I'm not in that position.
Yeah, it's a tough sell right now. I think Josh Heupel being your head coach instead of Jeremy Pruitt probably helps that. But I do think it hurts that no one has seen Josh Heupel coach for Tennessee and what his team looks like, what his offense truly looks like under Tennessee, at Tennessee. So I'd say that hurts the cause, whereas Heupel over Pruitt probably helps the cause. There's more confidence in the unknown of Josh Heupel than there is of what we knew about Jeremy Pruitt.
Well, I think he wanted to come and play for Jeremy Pruitt. So if
I don't. There's no way
I don't get it
to Tennessee. If we're still on schedule, Jeremy Pruitt, none of that. He's not fired. And he commits on February 28th or whatever this Friday would be. I would bet the freaking house on him not coming to Tennessee because there's no way. There's no way.
I think it was like one of those relationships, and not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying if you're willing to come to Tennessee for Jeremy Pruitt's offense, I mean, good Lord, you got to be just out of your mind about Josh Heupel and the track record of quarterbacks like Drew Lock, Mackenzie Milton, Dylan Gabriel. I think Landry Jones maybe at Oklahoma.
Yeah, at least for a time. I don't know if he was the starting quarterback then, but yeah. I mean, if he was going to come to Tennessee, so let's say that would he have committed to Tennessee if Jeremy Pruitt was the coach in February of this year? Now I'm going to probably say the opposite. Then that probably means Tennessee is out of it. If that was the case, I just can't imagine that relationship automatically, unless it's just Tennessee all the way. Unless he's like, I don't want to be the next Trevor Lawrence in terms of, I don't want them talking about how I, was a Tennessee fan my whole life and didn't go there. I mean, unless that's his shtick. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the kid's got to look out for his own.
Yeah.
It's his decision. If he don't want to, if he thinks it's safer to go to Alabama and Clemson, if he'd rather do the safe route, then I can't really blame him.
No, I mean,
but then Tennessee has to move on. But I think there's plenty of options in this 2022 class at quarterback that Tennessee could really go after. A guy like Sam Horn, Caden Martin, Braden Davis, who is Anton Davis's son. There's some options. Tevin Carter, I think he's at Kirby in Memphis. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of options in this 2022 class, but Ty Simpson, they want him to be the guy.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people want him to be the guy.
Hopefully,
Alabama and Clemson want him to be the guy in that class. Right. But I mean, we're wanting him to be the guy of not just the class, the guy. Like, you come in, you're the guy.
Yeah. No, and Tennessee really needs that. I mean, Tennessee needs that. Again, can't be overstated. Ty Simpson would be a phenomenal pickup this early because he would definitely be the glue of the class.
Yeah. So let's talk about the tweet.
Again, he'd be the glue of the class. Like, look at the guys that would heavily consider Tennessee if Ty Simpson was your quarterback, was your committed quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, you have guys, he was talking to Dallin Hayden, Cam Miller, Isaiah Horton, and Jordan James. And all those are in-state guys in that West Tennessee area. And, they're talking about playing with each other, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's look at Cam Miller's top six. Oregon, Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn, Memphis, Tennessee. Isaiah Horton, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Miami. Dallin Hayden, Oregon, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee. And then, Jordan James also has a Tennessee offer. Ty Simpson, it's Clemson, Alabama, or Tennessee. The only team in common is Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Conspiracy guy. I like it.
Yeah.
That we've gotten Landon into the
I'm connecting the dots, man. That's why Ty Simpson had to delete it. He knew somebody as smart as myself was going to connect the dots.
Big brain stuff over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Did you take a little LSD this morning and see what you could do?
I took some vitamins.
Okay, yeah, a little zinc.
I told you I'm aging, man.
Yeah.
I got to take vitamins now to get my day
just
going.
Like a one a day, or like you got recommendations here?
I do my one a days.
Don't throw brands out. We don't do free ads around here, but one a day vitamin.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right. Do that.
All right, so that's all.
I take two. It's not just one; it's two.
You take 2 one a days.
2 one a days. Yeah.
Okay, Kevin. Is that a Kevin idea from The Office?
I think it's actually recommended you take 2, but it's just still 1 a day.
So just twice, once a day, or what about 1 twice a day? Is that an option?
1 twice a day.
That would be 2 a day. Same thing you're saying. I just take them at different times of the day.
I take them at the same time, baby. 2 gummies each side of the mouth. Let's get it.
How does that work?
I don't know. I think I'd do it on one side.
Probably.
Try not to favor one side because I feel like that's not good for your teeth.
Well, I've got a steak side that I treat really. That one gets fed good.
Dennis loves you.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to be big brain like Landon, 1 a day, twice 1 a day,
then you will be able to connect the dots too.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of those guys want to be at Tennessee. So.
Yeah, and with if Heupel's offense does what he's done everywhere else, you got to be excited to play in this offense.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to be a national championship contender? Probably not. But you're going to score a lot of points. You're going to have a lot of yards. You get to play in the SEC against some of the top talent in the country.
And unfortunately, a lot of the teams you named will not only have exciting offense, they'll also be national championship contenders. So.
Yeah.
They'll do both. They'll check both those boxes.
There you go. So if Ty Simpson does, let's say he doesn't pick Tennessee, say for out Alabama, Clemson, who does Tennessee lean to?
At this point, I just kind of hope they're putting their eggs all in the Ty Simpson basket. I don't know. I mean, who do you go for in the 2022 classes as far as quarterback goes? The good news is, you need a quarterback. Especially nowadays, you need a quarterback every single class. It's not enough. You can't have too many quarterbacks, as you can tell from Tennessee's roster this past year. But I don't know. Who do they have another target at this moment that could be considered a target?
I hope that they've talked to somebody else.
Well, yeah, but there's not even another person that they've really worried about.
Yeah. Sam Horn, he grew up a Tennessee fan, so there's another one. Like, if Ty Simpson goes somewhere else, and you're gonna see the ESPN graphic somewhere that one of these 2 kids were a Tennessee fan. So at least get one of them.
Right.
He's at Collins Hill in Suwanee, Georgia. I want to see kind of how he is next season because he was throwing to Travis Hunter, which is a 5-star. I think he's a cornerback, but also played receiver. But he wears number 21. So
okay.
I kind of dig that. You got to have some big kahunas to wear number 21 in this day and age playing quarterback.
Yeah. For sure. I'm a big 21 guy.
I don't know if it's because of Heath Schuler, but that'd be pretty cool.
He's got to be too young. Unless his dad was a big.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe his dad was a big Heath Schuler guy.
Yeah, I'd say that's the only way. Heath Schuler's a little before his time. So.
But for 247 Sports Composite, he's the number 97 player in the country, number 4 pro-style quarterback. 247 has him as the number 2 pro-style quarterback and number 47 player in the country.
And now Sam Horn is high on Tennessee? Is that can that be correct since Tennessee wants?
I definitely think Ty Ty Simpson's who they want.
Right. So I mean, I think from all accounts, Sam Horn wants to be at Tennessee, but I guess technically right now it's not possible. Is that correct? Like, would you say that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends on how Friday goes, and it kind of depends on if you don't land Ty Simpson, then does Sam Horn feel like he wasn't kind of taken seriously? So he's just like, no, right. I'm good. Thanks.
Well, I think crystal ball predictions, or I think there's been one prediction for Sam Horn, and it's been Tennessee. But I guess that's what my question is can that be true at this point in time?
Well, that was done in May, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. I mean, it's going to come out. Did they put all their eggs in the Ty Simpson basket and didn't pay Sam Horn attention, or if they kind of kept contact, or maybe Pruitt did that, and maybe Heup will come in and he's talking to different quarterbacks because he knows nothing's guaranteed.
Right, but he's been offered, so
correct.
Pruitt at least offered him.
Least... I mean, Florida offered him on February 3rd, so definitely don't want to lose a Tennessee fan to Florida. That would be heartbreaking.
Correct. All right, we ready to go to basketball?
Did you see the 247 transfer rankings?
No, I did not.
It's pretty heartbreaking. Number 1 is Eric Gilbert.
Okay, good.
Number 2 is DeMarcus Bowman. You're thinking, oh, who's that? I don't know. Well, I think he did go to Florida State, but he transferred to Florida too. So Florida gets 2 of the top transfers. So that's great.
Awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, that's good for them.
Henry To'oTo'o is number 3. Eric Gray is number 4.
Yeah, I mean, at least Henry To'oTo'o has not officially gone, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Jones is number 6. That's heartbreaking because he's from Middle Tennessee. Wanya Morris is number 7.
Good for Oklahoma.
Key Lawrence is number 9.
I mean, you just can't convince me there's not tampering there. I don't know whether it'd be called tampering. It's not in the NFL. It's not.
Yeah, NBA. There's definitely tampering.
Like, come on.
Ty Chandler is number 12.
Good for Ty Chandler. Because, I mean, he was probably gone, like, before the... Did he announce it before Jeremy Pruitt was officially gone? I can't remember. But he was probably going to go.
Yeah, he's probably going to leave it.
So good for him that he got graded that high. I think he'll do pretty good at UNC.
But, I mean, it's pretty... I mean, what, 7 of the top 10 had, like, some sort of Tennessee, at least tie or thoughts of, Eric Gilbert was... They're like, oh, we're going to get Eric Gilbert.
I never believed that, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah. we all had hope.
I mean, yeah.
We knew what the outcome was going to be,
Hope's
but
there to crush
we all
you.
had hope.
Hope's there to crush you. So that's it.
It's true.
That's it. Speaking of hope.
Oh, what about Heup House?
Yeah, Heup House. What about it?
So that's the Zoom call with all the prospects.
Okay.
That's what they call it. Yeah, so there's a bunch of prospects, a lot of them in state. Did like a Zoom meeting with Josh Heupel, and they called it Heup House. I dig it.
Hey, at least it was, I assume, created by the players and not by the social media staff or something. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I'll accept it. Don't want it on a shirt still, but I'll allow it.
Like I think it was just like a couple players said, thanks for Josh Heupel for having me on, and then it came out like it was called Heup House.
All right, well, as long as
I'm trying to get this meeting, I'm trying to get the invite. I don't know how to do that, but maybe I just make a fake profile on 247.
I mean, that's possible. It's worked before. It could work again.
Yeah.
So it's certainly there. It's an option to consider.
And then Dylan Brooks is headed to Auburn.
Yep.
Oh, well. And Jamarian Gooch was released out of his NLI. And he's
very
going
strange.
somewhere else too.
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah, I mean he's a big dude, so I don't know about this up tempo offense really fits him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how many places are you really going to go nowadays that don't have some kind of up tempo offense, similar up tempo offense?
Yeah, I agree.
So very weird.
But he wants to go somewhere else, whatever. If they want to be here. And who's the guy who like tweeted out something that Tennessee they like gave him a condition?
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who the guy is, but the information
Brian
was
Fisher.
Obviously wrong. Yeah.
No, that's not right. No, it's not right. I don't have.
He's just dropping names out here. He's trying to get people tweeted at.
This is another kind of fail.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, we don't know what truly took place. Maybe Tennessee realized that they're wrong and shouldn't have given the SEC condition. We don't know, but there's nothing proving that.
Right.
Except some random high school coach in Alabama, and I'm gonna go with a lot of Alabama high school coaches cheer for Alabama. So let's take everything we hear from them with a grain of salt.
Right. Yeah. It's just like it's not true. So why would? And it's good that stuff comes out. So it's not like we're not going to find out.
He stuck with it. He just said, well, Dylan Brooks hadn't heard that yet. He stuck with it. He never retracted that.
What a moron.
Yeah. Unless he did it later. God. But initially he did not.
Recruiting is it's fun to like keep tabs on, but it's so exhausting at the same time.
Right. Sorry.
Gosh, here we go.
What are we? Oh, basketball. I was like, here we going about over there? Yeah, ugly. Kentucky shot 50% from the floor. From three. Let's also note that.
I mean, they just kept leaving Mintz open. He was 5 for 5 at one point.
Yeah.
They were shooting like 60% from three at the end of the first half. But the thing that kills me is like Tennessee gets absolutely nothing from John Fulkerson. He scores 19 against South Carolina. I know South Carolina was undermanned, but still.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely opposite. Like, it completely changed.
I mean, 1 for 7, and we were just settling for contested jump shots. We weren't trying to go to the rim. When we did go to the rim, we went right into somebody, and we weren't getting any post presence whatsoever from Fulkerson. Pons is not really a post. He's a rim protector, but he's not really a post that can get to the rim. He's every jump shot that he shoots is a contested jump shots because he just tries to jump right over the top of them. So, didn't get to the rim, settled for contested jump shots. And, when you do that, Tennessee doesn't have the shooters to do that. And that's what happened. John Fulkerson 1 for 7, Jaden Springer 2 for 11, Keon Johnson 4 for 14, Vescovi 1 for 5. I mean, just bad.
Just bad shooting affair. Bad shooting affair.
Yeah.
And you're not going to compete. I mean, obviously you lose to a 8-12 Kentucky team at the time. I mean, when it gets into March, I mean, you're not going to be able to play with those, with going big stretches of game, long stretches of games. If you can't shoot the ball better than you're shooting it currently, 32% from the field, 27% from three. I mean, 81% from the line isn't going to win you games in March.
Yeah, and 22 of Tennessee's 56 shots were from three. And, the only two that should be really shooting threes are Victor Bailey Jr., and that's just of recent. Before the last two games, you're hoping he wouldn't shoot just from three.
Right.
And maybe Vescovi, but he was 0 for 3. Jaden Springer was 0 for 4. I mean, Tennessee isn't a great three-point shooting team, so kind of relying on that to get you back in basketball games is just the wrong formula.
Right, and I mean, it's got to be Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer being aggressive and going to the hole, and we've been talking about that over the last several games. And those are guys that I want shooting threes too, but that certainly is not their first priority. It's not. They definitely should, when they've got the space to shoot from out there, absolutely they should be taking those opportunities. But their first goal should be to get to the hole.
Yeah, and Kentucky, credit to them, they took that away. They had Jackson and Sarr in there to kind of disrupt them just getting to the rim. And, that's when a post has to step up and get position to when, that big does step up to them trying to drive the basket. They're able to dish it off and get an easy basket. And you didn't get anything from Tennessee's post players on Saturday.
Nope.
And thank God for Victor Bailey Jr. because we would have lost by 35 points.
Right. Right.
I mean, he was the only one that had any kind of, fight, if you will, in him. I mean, Tennessee was down 15 when Kentucky was shooting like 60% from the floor at the end of the first half. In the second half, Kentucky shot 20% from the floor, and Tennessee still lost by 15.
Yeah.
So you didn't gain any ground when they were having a terrible shooting night. So, that says a lot about effort to me. It's not about, you had a bad shooting night, they had a good shooting night. When you're down by 15, when they're shooting 60%, you lose by 15 when they shoot 20%. That's effort.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes too with you talked about just not playing smart on the offensive end of the floor, taking ill-advised shots and not high percentage shots, and especially for your team. I mean, whatever it is with Fulkerson, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what it's going to take. It seemed like he might have, turned a corner against South Carolina on Wednesday night. That's obviously was not the case.
Yep, got destroyed on the boards, 43-31. You're not going to win very many games if you're shooting like that and you're rebounding like that. You're not going to win very many games.
You will not win any games if you're shooting like that and rebounding like that. I can't think of anyone who's won a game like that. And if they did win a game like that, I do not want to see the U6 junior pro team they played on the other end. So that's about the only place you see those kind of stat lines. So
we do have some questions about Tennessee basketball that we'll get to. So this is Christopher Nichols who said, between Springer and Josiah Jordan-James, whose absence has hurt the team the most?
I mean, Kim English said this is Josiah Jordan-James' team. So it's kind of hard to say it's not him. I mean, that's coming from a coach. But I mean, Jaden Springer just brings a ton to the team, especially offensively. That's a tough question to say because I don't know. I think that's a tough one. Kind of seems like JJJ is the easy answer because the coaches believe that.
Yeah, I think as a leadership, it would probably be Josiah Jordan-James. But if you're talking about what Tennessee has struggled at all year is offense, it has to be Jaden Springer. Because, I mean, that's – Josiah Jordan-James wasn't there against South Carolina, and you blow them out.
Right.
So, yeah, Kentucky's probably a little bit better than South Carolina, but still, like, you should have beat that Kentucky team without Josiah Jordan-James. I don't know if – and you didn't really get much from Jaden Springer, but I don't know how many games you win if you don't have Jaden Springer this year. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't think you have some of the stretches of better off. You don't. I mean, you see the rate he scores at. You don't have some of the offensive output games that you've had. So, yeah, that would definitely be a assured thing. So, Tennessee welcomes Vanderbilt back Wednesday night.
9 o'clock.
Not
Good
another
Lord.
freaking late. Like, how does Tennessee do other SEC teams have this many late games?
I don't know. It feels like it's only us.
It certainly does feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sick of them. Already hate them already. But Tennessee should win that game fairly easy. This is a bad Vanderbilt team. I mean,
I'll say this: if they play the way they did against Kentucky, Vanderbilt will beat them.
If they play the way they did against Kentucky, and Vanderbilt plays the way they did against Alabama, yeah.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr. will have 50 points.
That's definitely the kind of effort it would take, thankfully, because Vanderbilt's just not a good basketball team. But it's not impossible. Both of those things were accomplished on Saturday. So we'll see.
Let's get to something more positive.
Vanderbilt's averaging about 74 points a game in the last 5 games.
That's scary.
Wednesday night might be a long night, guys.
I mean, it is, because it's going to be 9 o'clock,
Good
so
point,
you're not
good
going to go to bed.
Fair. You're right.
It could be longer than you expect, too,
Right.
yes.
Right. Let's talk some fall baseball. Let's do it. Yes.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Wait, where's the victory cap at?
No. We don't need a victory cap. We got the broom,
just got a
baby. The
broom.
brooms are out. It's a mess in Statesboro.
It was a mess.
It was a mess. 346 days without a baseball game. Ended on Friday. And, I said this at the beginning of the show. Tennessee just found a way.
Yeah.
And, they found a way in 3 different games. And for your team to figure that out so early, I think that's just a testament to this coaching staff and the culture that they've built. Because not a lot of teams, Georgia Southern was one of those teams that just couldn't figure it out, and I think the layoff probably had a lot to do with that. But, Tennessee didn't play great all weekend, but when it mattered, they stepped up.
Yeah. That's kind of my whole, spiel for the weekend is they definitely just found a way to win. Was down at one point on Saturday. Did they get down on Sunday? Or was it just tied at one point?
It was tied, yeah.
They were winning or tied, yeah, that's what I thought. But down on Saturday and found a way to grind out a win. Wasn't always pretty. You did have some great moments, especially on Saturday with Liam Spence's grand slam. They found a way to win, and that's big. To do that early on in the season is always good. Come from behind, is always a nice way to figure it out. Gonna have to, SEC plays a different animal, but right now the name of the game is just go win.
Yeah. So let's talk about it a little bit. So Friday night, you won that game 5-3. Jordan Beck was kind of the hero there. He had a 2-run double in the first inning, also had a solo shot. Chad Dallas pitched really well in that game, pitched 6 in the third inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. And then on Saturday was, I guess Sunday was probably the game of the weekend, but Saturday there was just that competitiveness, that fire. And Drew Gilbert was kind of your hero in that game. He had 2 home runs. Jake Rucker had a big, I think 2 out. Maybe it wasn't 2 out. 2 out or 2-run single in the 8th to tie the game. And then in the top of the 9th, Drew Gilbert steps up, and he was just a thorn in Georgia Southern's side all weekend long. There was chirping. He would make catches. He'd get hits. He'd be chirping back. And, it was just a competitive weekend. And he gets that go-ahead home run in the 9th to give Tennessee the 5-3 lead. They win that game. And then Sunday, it was just we were up 1-0. Georgia Southern scores 1. We score 2 more runs. Georgia Southern scores 2 more runs. And it got to, I think in the 10th, they actually had a runner on third. We had 1 out.
Yeah.
And Jackson Leith got a ground ball that we turned a double play on. And then in the 12th, the kid from Australia, the land down under.
And you get a leadoff. Was it a leadoff double in the 12th?
I know you had bases loaded with no outs, and then you get then somebody I think struck out, and then Liam Spence is up.
I have to look at that. I think I can't even. Okay, it was just a leadoff single, I think. Regardless, you got guys you got bases loaded with no. It just felt like this was the moment, and it's a crap you dream about right there. In a grand slam, win it again. The walk off would have been sweeter.
Dead center. Not a lot of teams have a shortstop that can take them dead center.
No.
And Tennessee has a lot of power. You saw that this weekend. Was it all pretty? Absolutely not. I mean, I think they had 45 strikeouts for the weekend. That's not something that you want every game. But then again, 346 days without playing a team with a different jersey, you're going to have some ups and downs. So that's got to get fixed. Also, leaving men on base. I think they had a opportunity with. I think they also had bases loaded, no outs, and they only got 1 run out of it. So definitely want to capitalize when you get guys in scoring position.
Yeah, and I think there was a guy left stranded on third in another extra inning in the 10th or 11th, I think. Somewhere late in the game for sure. Left a guy on third, which is, like you said, never great.
Yep.
After this weekend, though, I am proposing a new rule. If you hit a grand slam, whether the top of the inning or not, I think that should end the game. Like in extra innings. And only in extra innings. If it was the ninth, top of the ninth, we'll go to the bottom. But anything after 9, that's got to end the game, right? Like that's a. I don't know.
If it puts you ahead, yes.
Yes. Well, it would have to because it's the top.
There was a guy. Yeah, that's true. There was a guy that for Florida Atlanta. This is my most important. I'm not going to get into it. I'll wait. But Tennessee got some good pitching performance. I mentioned Chad Dallas, and then Elijah Pleasance pitched pretty well yesterday. Jackson Leaf came in and just freaking dominated. He pitched a 5 2/3 inning, 3 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And then Sean Hunley pitched really well out of the pen, and so did Redmond Walsh. They both had a really good weekend. So Tennessee got a lot from different guys. I mentioned Jordan Beck, Drew Gilbert, Jake Rucker, Jackson Greer, the ETSU transfer, had a couple hits yesterday. Just Tennessee has a lot of options, and so if you're not getting it done, I think there's guys just on your heels every single day. So if you're not getting it done, that they can easily replace you. They have tons of guys to do that. So love this team. I'm excited for the success they're going to have this season, and it's getting my mind off basketball, so that's good. So are you out on basketball?
No. I'm not out on basketball. I think this team has still got a ton of talent. When it clicks, man, they look really, really good. We can. I think it's easy to for whatever these team struggles have been. It's a little frustrating to see some of the the things that have kind of been like. I don't know. This team isn't done. They're gonna be they're gonna be in the tournament.
Right.
Like let them get there and see what they do. And then there's already people that have always wanted Rick Barnes fired, that never wanted him here, that want him gone again. And
yeah, that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, and it's just like I think this team has way too much potential, and I think it takes one guy going, this is my effing team. I think
if John Fulkerson steps up the way he did at the end of last season and plays like a first team All SEC guy, I think Tennessee can easily be a top 15 program in the country.
Yeah.
But the inconsistency is just where I'm.
And it's incredibly frustrating.
You just can't get over. You can't bet on them.
No, I won't. I won't do it. It is incredibly frustrating, but I think this team they're close. I think they're getting there.
So how far realistically do you see them going in the tournament? That's what Christopher Nichols is asking.
Yeah, right now I can't imagine getting them past the round of 32, and depending on how they finish the season out, it could be a really, really tough first round game. But with everything I'm seeing right now, I just can't imagine them playing into the Sweet 16. But I'm also looking at this team and I'm going, man, when they're on, they are tough to beat. There's not a lot of teams in the country, outside of the top, 5, 6 teams right now that could beat this team on any given night, and those teams are very beatable. there's not. Michigan's looking really, really good right now, and they would give Tennessee fits for sure. But Baylor, obviously, Baylor's ability to just run away with the game is scary, especially a team like Tennessee that can go just dead shooting. Is pretty incredible. And then of course you got Gonzaga, kind of Very similar to Baylor in that regard, that they can go on runs. Baylor suffocates you at the end of the games like nothing I've ever seen. It's pretty incredible. They can be a close game with 3.5 minutes remaining, and they can break away from you quick and in a hurry. There's a lot of great teams right now that that I don't see Tennessee even necessarily having the ability to beat. But then you go and you look at how Tennessee played against South Carolina on Saturday night. The guard play you got the last time Tennessee was at Kentucky. But then you have the Tennessee team that played Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we know it. It's frustrating. It's a
roller coaster.
But it's frustrating for them too. It's equally as frustrating for them. I can't imagine the frustrations the coaching staff has felt this season.
Yeah.
Because
and then I'm sure the freshmen, they came in here thinking this is going to be, the preseason ranking said it, like this team was supposed to compete for, be the top team in the SEC. They were supposed to be one of the top teams in the country, and it just hasn't been up there because you just had these lapses of terrible basketball. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of with you. I don't see them really getting past the second round if they even get there. They do have the talent to get way past that too.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I don't know. You just never know which Tennessee team you're going to see. This baseball team, on the other hand, finds ways to win, and we'll get to see them tomorrow night. They take on Arkansas Pine Bluff on Tuesday and Wednesday at 4:30, and then this weekend they'll take on Indiana State. Got the sweep, man. The sweep.
Sweep. Most important of the week.
Most important. Also, somebody asked me how good is Georgia Southern? And I think Tony Vitello mentioned it after the series. He talked about how he's pretty confident in saying that they're a regional team with the talent that they had. I mean, striking Tennessee out 45 times in a weekend is pretty good. And I think some of those guys played in the field as well. They weren't just pitchers. I think they have a pretty good team down at Georgia Southern. But again, you're finding ways to win. I'm interested to see kind of where this lineup ends up come SEC play. They're doing a lot of experimenting, which they do every year. Just kind of getting, some guys in there getting ready, getting SEC experience or get them college baseball experience. Blake Tidwell, you saw as a true freshman on Saturday, got the start. So they got some new guys sprinkled in there as well. So I'm excited where this, lineup kind of goes, and also the pitching rotation. So hopefully a lot of success down the road for Tennessee baseball. Most important of the week.
Most important of the week. I should have had that ready. I've got to go with the Sun. The Sun was operating this weekend at an all-time high. Worked so hard that they got an NHL game, the NHL Classic, postponed until midnight. Yeah.
Man,
it worked so hard that it got games postponed until midnight. Did you see that by chance?
I didn't see that.
Dude, you need to look it up when we get off here. If you guys haven't seen it, look it up. The NHL did it they usually do it in like a stadium or something, but they did it on a golf course in Lake Tahoe, and the backdrop for it was freaking gorgeous. But the sun
I did see that. I did see the mountains. Yeah.
The sun was out all day though. So, and as a guy who, I've been around my fair share of ice, and ice doesn't work with sun. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it will melt it. I don't know if you know this either. Ice hockey needs ice to be played. So they did have to postpone that till midnight where they could get the ice ready. They played the first period, and then didn't start the second until midnight.
Big Zamboni guy.
Big Zamboni guy, exactly. Exactly.
My first one is Caleb Pendleton, player for Florida Atlantic, was 2 for 5. His first 2 hits as a college baseball player were grand slams. 8 RBIs.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Take a picture, videotape it, because you will never get another opportunity like that.
And
in
you
your
said he
life.
was 2
Never.
of 5, correct?
Yes.
So the 2 hits he had are
Bombs.
not only like your first college game, but also your 2 hits. Period.
Yeah. 2 for 2. I mean that's a good average.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime he connects, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
My next one, I've got Kelly Harper. Little Pat Summitt-esque to her team at the halftime of the South Carolina game. I actually, when I read it in Pat Summitt's voice. It sounded so Pat Summit-y. She said, "I called them soft and told them to put their big girl pants on."
Ooh.
Yeah, just very came across like I even saw the stare Pat Summitt gave them. So I love the fire, and it's first off, Kelly Harper baller, both as a coach and a player. It stinks that they had that letdown yesterday at Georgia, tough loss, but that program is trending in the absolute right direction. So
Yeah. Absolutely. My next one is Tarleton State.
okay,
Did you see this?
I didn't. I just like the name.
So Tarleton State defeats FCS Tarleton State defeats FBS New Mexico State 43-17.
Oh,
And to put a little cherry on top, if you will, Tarleton State just moved up this year from Division II to FCS.
yeah, okay, not good, New Mexico State, not good.
Boom. 43.
Yeah, that's
Put it on them.
That's pretty insane. My last one is
They scored 23 in the first quarter.
That's nuts. My last one is a fail / most important, so we'll segue into that. Did you see the dunk this week that broke the internet and the backboard? Did you see it?
I didn't know. Missed that.
I'll have to send it to you. A 6'10" center went up to dunk it. He did get fouled. I'll give him credit for that. He did get fouled, but he broke the backboard. And normally we're like, God, that's awesome, but he missed the dunk. And I think when you miss the dunk and break the backboard, I think that's not good. That's not good. I love a good backboard breaking dunk, but you got to complete the dunk.
Yeah, got to.
Got to. So, sorry. You get a fail.
My next fail is Jalen Johnson, the Duke freshman and probably lottery pick, opted out of the 2020-2021 season.
And they won, didn't they?
Yeah. They've been winning now, but they were losing. And, good on Duke, I guess. But, I mean, you just quit.
Yeah, no, that's quitting. Opting out. You played more than half the season. You didn't opt out.
Yeah, you quit.
Why don't you at least fake an injury? I think that's my shoulder.
Fake a scurvy.
Yeah, fake a good scurvy there. My next one is hey, I got one more most important. We'll jump back to it after fails.
Okay.
But my next fail is did you see the ref? I believe it was for North Dakota's football game this Saturday. That just dropped the F-bomb with his mic on after halftime.
I did, yeah.
Halftime.
Good for him.
I love it. Big fan of refs leaving the mics on. You always get something good from it.
I think that's all I got. Most important that Deion Sanders won his first college game as a coach, but fail for the bizarre.
They got it back.
Yeah, apparently he was in his office.
Well, he's stating that it was returned. Someone got scared, I guess, and brought it back. But did you see what happened at their stadium on Saturday? It's like the whole city was like frozen over, because of the storms. And they had no running water, and they had to bring in porta potties because like the bathrooms couldn't be open for the stadium. I can't believe they played if that was the situation. I don't know if that's a lot. Like I don't know.
There is stink in there.
I guess they're in Mississippi, so that's why there's no rules regarding bathrooms there. But that doesn't.
They just go wherever.
Seems like the health department would frown upon that in most states. Could be wrong. My last most important. Do you have any more fails before I go into this?
That's all I got.
Okay, so this is another most important. Tennessee soccer playing their spring season. So far, they played 2 games: Gardner-Webb and Appalachian State, beating them by a combined 13-0. Beating Gardner-Webb 6-0, and then this Sunday beat App State. Sunday or Saturday? one of the days this weekend, beat App State 7-0.
Also, did you see Oklahoma's Spencer Jones get wrecked?
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him. I didn't see what happened before the video, so like maybe he was a dick before it, but it looked like his friend was being the dick, and he got the brunt of it. So yeah, feel a little bad for him there. Choose your friends wisely, kids.
Yeah, not only did you get your ass whooped, you got your ass whooped on a nasty bathroom floor in a bar. So
on a viral video now too.
Yeah.
So
hate it for him.
Yeah, that's
don't be an ass.
yeah.
Advice of the day.
and he should have, yeah. You saw the video. You get it.
Yeah. Watch out who you be a butthole to.
Everybody's an MMA fighter nowadays too.
Oh yeah, everybody takes classes.
Everybody should know. Yeah, everybody should know.
It wasn't MMA. It's CrossFit. It's two totally different things.
Yeah, you're right. Guys, appreciate you listening. As always, we'll be back Wednesday night. Hey, you get another pregame show. I hope you enjoy it.
Brutus is out.
Brutus is. Yeah, he chilled with me today. Little whiny. Brutus, say hey to the camera.
All right, guys, enjoy your night. Go watch The Bachelor. I got to get caught up. My wife's already mad. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.